Okay, here we go. This is our first 13-minute segment of Mark Levin telling us about the amazing way that his visual imagery has emerged. But how many documentaries have you made now?
Uh, okay. Don't know how many documentaries I've made, but certainly many, many, many. Uh, and yeah, I've worked both in what you would call direct cinema, verite. I've worked in what you would call hybrid mixing of verite with conventional essay and documentary reportage journalism. And here we're working in the historical mode. And you were talking about what you felt about how the imagery was constructed. This is a mashup. There's no doubt about it.
It's a mashup, but it's seamless because it's historically established. It's like you manage to make sure that either the audio track or the visual establishes the connection from on everything. And then whatever the image is, it's then the right image because that's what it came to. And I
Right.
like that. It's special. It's
Well, I look, as you know, we've talked before. I started in the editing room. You had mentioned before we started recording that Al Maisels would appreciate it. I'd like to believe he would, uh, because as I noted, I was actually in the Maisels editing room on Gimme Shelter as a teenage intern or apprentice, listening to Wins Radio, 1010 Wins, all news. On May 8th, 1970. And the reason I was tuned in was because I wanted to find out if Willis Reed was going to play in the seventh game of the NBA Finals of the Knicks versus the Lakers. And of course, around lunchtime, all of a sudden started hearing these reports of disturbances down on Wall Street and the construction workers coming down from the World Trade Center and other
your
buildings everywhere.
documentarian ears perked up. And
Exactly. And I was tempted to say, boy, I should get down there and get in the middle of the action.
right.
But
And then just 55 years later, 53 years later, you ran into the guy who wrote a book about it.
that's right, right. I ran into him because Mikola Beardsley and Carrie Woods uh, put the book in my hands and said, take a look at this, the Hard Hat Riot, and see what you think. We think there could be a great documentary here. And Daphne Pinkerson, the producer, and I read it, and we agreed. And of course, as I just said, I was in New York then. Uh, so,
That's a
but
special thing. We that just slid by. I don't know this because there's different players who come up at different times in this business. I mean, I think that's why they have LLCs instead of inks. Um, but they're all brilliant whenever they're hit. I mean, it's amazing, you know. But I just those producers are special because that you mentioned Daphne, Peter,
Pinkerson,
right, Nickerson.
Carrie Woods, who produced Kids, Gumbo, uh, uh, what was the Scream? I mean, he's legendary. His wife Mikola, who started working with us as an intern, is now a major documentary producer. So, what going back to what you raised about imagery, when I saw David Falcoon, the author and co-producer, had gotten from the New York Police Department this footage that no one had ever seen of the Hard Hat Riot.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I saw that, and you've seen it now in the film, I was just kind of stunned because, first of all, it's color 16 millimeter footage, so it's high quality. Second, it's hand to hand combat. You couldn't help but think of January 6th when you saw it. They're not guns or knives, they're people just bashing each other on,
David Off probably paid him.
right, on the streets of New York City. So
Hey,
that
kid, you got that
was
16-millimeter camera. Why don't you use it? Show it.
yeah. And then there was another find that I was not aware of. This collective of NYU students, when Martin Scorsese was a like a teaching assistant or assistant professor, and a group called the Cinetrack Collective of film students got together to document and chronicle that historic week.
Now that I got to stop you there. Because that it was said somewhere Harvey Keitel was there.
Yes,
Okay. But
yes,
that was Marty Scorsese there too for a shot, was it not?
that's right.
That
That's
was
right.
that was fucking amazing. That
It's an
he was
incredible
just this one
shot.
going by and he's a fucking radical. It's like it was
It's a great moment. Thank you, Marty, for allowing us to use it. And thank you,
that's
Harvey
great.
Keitel, and thank you, Jay Cox, because Jay Cox, the writer who is the screenwriter who's worked with Marty on a number of films and just recently did A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan biography. He's the one who asked the group, well, is this really going to make a difference? Are really, professionals, middle-aged insurance men, are they going to go out on strike too? And then Harvey Keitel goes into his rap, which is sensational. The guy was prescient, saying, hey, if we're just going around screaming in their face and saying, you hard hats are, pigs and this and that, that's not going to win us any friends.
What did Harvey Keitel know about um, the film political stuff going on at that time, and how involved was he in both?
I honestly don't know.
Because it's pure Pasolini. That's what it was. Pasolini came in Rome with all the students of rioting and all that. And he said they were betraying the whole core of what the left was supposed to be about. These are just working people. Why are you abusing them?
Uh-huh. Well,
And he wouldn't write a thing for his paper. Well, whatever it was, the political one. He said, that's the people above.
hmm.
That's why they killed him, actually, probably.
Well, Harvey was ahead of his time. I think he was, my understanding is that Harvey actually had served in the armed forces. It might have even been the Marines. So he had a little bit of a different background, but it is amazing to see him, passionately talking about this and Marty looking at him. It's an incredible frame when you
I
think
didn't
of
stop that. The things are going by fast. Some of the shots are so quick. I mean, the shot of Reagan when Nixon got his nomination right there, that cutaway. I mean,
right,
that was
right,
perfect. I mean, was it 4 seconds?
right.
Where'd you
Um,
find that? Was it
that was in
there?
the
It came
archives.
right
I mean, like you said in the beginning, look, the challenge, and I give Henry Moskowitz, the young editor, a tremendous credit. How to mix images from the streets of New York, from police surveillance, from a college, an NYU student collective of footage from Vietnam, footage of political leaders, and of course, footage of the hard hats and their life, the buildings they were working on, the communities they came from, their families, how to weave that all together as you described it seamlessly is not easy. And
That's
it
why I think
takes,
Al would have liked it. I think he would have seen something more even modern than the last stuff he was doing, and he would have started doing that too.
well, I would like to believe that Al Maisels would have appreciated it,
The
and he would.
technology's allowed you to merge these things much easier than it was back then. You
That
can
is
really
true.
fix up things and change things and just match them and all that. At least
That is absolutely true. In fact, you can see a rewind
Mhm.
behind me. And that's what the world, when I was working for Al Maisels and his brother David on Gimme Shelter, it was doing those rewinds back and forth. I was an apprentice and I was putting film, when editors edited a scene, I would take all the outs and put them back together again so the editors could re-edit it. This is stuff that a computer now does in a millionth of a second, but that was my job
Well, I
back.
hope they don't use computers to replace, I mean, AI to replace umpires. What the heck's the sense of that? That
Yeah,
is, yeah, if we've talked about this, this is part of what your film is about, is that humans don't count on a balance sheet for anything. They're always a negative, always a charge. They can write off equipment. They can't write off humans. They're always negative. So this is not a good thing.
no,
So what are you going to do? Get rid of 3,000 jobs in America so we could test AI to do our is called but walls and strikes. I mean, come on, how far are you going to micromanage the shit?
That was all good points, and uh, obviously, as you say, and there's a big op-ed in today's New York Times about this, about how the Democrats can win back the working class. We have a mayor's race in 6 weeks here in New York City with Zoran Mondami.
Well, I just think he's just is so great. I gotta vote for him. He's a whole nother front in the Donald Trump waged war on this bullshit and he'll get more distracted. Napoleon lost when he had too many fronts, you know?
Right,
And
but the point is,
that's
and the point of
important. Let him go
look,
after New York. Because if he goes after that guy, he's going after New York. He's going after our hard hats. I'm a hard hat filmmaker. I'll show you my hard hat in the next segment, which is
well,
gonna be in a
that
minute.
that is actually there's a line in today's Times op-ed piece about how many professionals are now living with the same economic insecurity that hard hats are living with. And
Exactly.
that's the point.
Yeah.
And this idea of trying to form a new coalition that has working people and families and all different and young people, getting them re-engaged in citizenship and in participating in politics. That's the energy. And back then, sadly, because of the Vietnam War, the civil rights movement, the gay rights movement, the environmental movement, all these positive things that happened, but there was blowback. There was another side. There
My
was a
Paul
counter.
production company blowback
Right.
to give them
Yeah.
some blowback.
Yeah, well, you're talking to Blowback right now, Blowback Productions. You are online with Blowback Productions, right?
Moving Babylon, Mr. Mark Levin,
That's right.
17
That's
minutes.
right.
And hold on, we got to get it at 17:17, and we will stop the recording.
Okay,
We,
that's part one.
okay. Pause. Did we pause it? Uh, that's not what I want. I want to stop it. Partnership, more. What's more? Mute? No, we don't want to mute. Uh, Pause. Stop recording. Okay, here's stop.